everyone, I'm Savannah and this is Unisense. We are all about fragrances. We do fragrance reviews, hauls, comparisons, collections, niche, designer, and Middle Eastern fragrances. Today, I'll be reviewing Niche Royal Rouge by Maison Alhambra. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing and turn post notifications on. Let's get into it. So this is a fairly new fragrance to my collection. I think I got it about 2 weeks ago. So I have tested it out, but it is a fairly new fragrance to my collection. I do like the bottle. It is quite an elegant bottle. I love the cap. I do wish it was heavier though, because it's quite a light plastic, but I do love the shape of the cap. It's not symmetrical, so I really like the shape. So I also like the beveling on this fragrance. I like the corners, how they've been beveled. I think it's really cool with almost like a sandy kind of texture on the sides. And I like the red backing. I think it gives it a interesting look. Because on the sides you can see that the juice is more yellow in color, and then from the front it looks more red. So I do like the bottle. I think it's interesting. The atomizer is not bad as well. So I'll put the notes up on the screen and you can just see them. But if we look at the notes, in the top we have bitter orange, pink pepper, bergamot and fruits. In the mid we have ylang ylang, jasmine sambac, rose and lily of the valley. And in the base we have patchouli, sandalwood, amber and vanilla. So this is supposed to be a clone of Armani Privè's Rouge Malachite. It's not exact, but I will go through the comparison between the two at the end. So if you want to see that, just stick around till the end and we'll go through that. But in the opening, so I am not a massive fan of the opening, but the dry down is really beautiful. So give it a chance. If you don't like the initial opening, give it a chance. Give it about 10-15 minutes, then go back to it. I can assure you that you will enjoy the dry down. The opening is very, very sharp. You get the bitter orange immediately, and it is very, very, very sharp and bitter, obviously. It's quite overwhelming as well. The pink pepper is also quite prominent, but that bitter orange comes through very, very heavily.
A few moments later.
So in the dry down, it becomes quite a bit more woody. It's much nicer in the dry down. I much prefer it in the dry down. So in the dry down, it definitely becomes a little bit more woody. The patchouli is an earthy patchouli, so just be prepared for that. It is a bit earthy. You do get a little bit of fruitiness, not much, but you do get a little bit of fruitiness. And the floral aspect does come through a little bit, but it does get stronger as it dries down, that floral aspect. So right at the end, when you're about half an hour in, you'll get quite strong florals, and the fruitiness has like almost gone away completely. That woodiness is still there. The bitter orange has faded quite a bit by then, so you don't have that sharp bitterness that is in that opening that I really don't like. But the dry down is really beautiful. I really enjoy the dry down. So in terms of longevity and season, season-wise, I would say this is a spring and summer scent, 100%. I find it quite floral in the dry down, so it's not a strong evening scent or anything like that. It's more floral and light. Not light as a light fragrance, but lighter in density. So it's not an overly dense fragrance. Longevity, I get pretty decent longevity. I get about 7 to 8 hours with this fragrance. And then projection, I get moderate to strong in the initial, and then moderate as it starts drying down. So my overall thoughts of this fragrance, as I said, I'm not a fan of the initial spray and the opening, but I do like the dry down. So give it about 10-15 minutes. Then really assess the fragrance. So don't judge it off the initial spray. I would definitely say this is not blind buy safe. It is really not a blind buy safe fragrance. It's definitely feminine. Not overly feminine, but it does lean feminine, and it's suited for spring and summer. I can see someone wearing this in the outdoors, wearing it in mid-mornings, like spring and summer mornings, and I can see someone wearing a sundress in this, so like a bright red or bright yellow sundress. That's what I can picture in this. Now, if we compare it to Rouge Malachite, tuberose in Rouge Malachite is the main note. It's in the top, mid, and base, where we don't have tuberose in Royal Niche. So there is that missing aspect. But we do get a tuberose vibe in the clone, but it's not exact. So I would say that this is about a 60% dupe. I wouldn't say that it's too close to Rouge Malachite. It's definitely, yeah, Rouge Malachite is much more white floral. And the opening is also bitter, but it's not quite as bitter. It doesn't have as sharp of an opening. So Rouge Malachite is more well blended than Royal Niche. So yeah, I do prefer the original. You must smell it on the skin though. Definitely. It smells very different on paper compared to skin, and it smells a lot better on skin than on paper. So definitely test it out on skin first before buying it. Then in terms of a feeling that I get when I smell Rouge Malachite compared to Royal Niche, it's lacking a velvety texture that I get from Rouge Malachite. So that is an aspect that's missing. So there's a couple of aspects that are lacking a little bit in the dupe or the clone. So it's not exact, but it is worth it. I do find it as good enough as a dupe if you're on a budget. Obviously, if you have the budget to get the original, go ahead, get the original. That's obviously going to be your best bet. But if you're on a budget, I think it's good enough as a dupe. And obviously, the dry down is what you're going to be aiming for, not the initial spray. Maybe some people like the opening. I don't know. But personally, I don't. So that's the end of this review. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you found this helpful, please click that like button. It really helps me. And please let me know what other Arabian fragrances you'd like me to review. I'll see you soon. Bye.